This is Pavlina from Pavlina's Kids Place. I'm on location in Tallahassee, Florida in the Capitol building with Speaker of the House, Dean Cannon. Hello.
Hello, Pavlina, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Quite well, quite well.
Okay, good. So, growing up, what did you like to do, and did that help you become a successful adult and with the job you do now?
Boy, that's a great question. I think my favorite things to do were hang out with my mom and dad on the weekends. My dad was in the Air Force and my mom worked for the school system, and so they tried to teach me and make it fun to get involved in stuff in our community. And I did all the normal kid stuff. I like to run around on my grandfather's farm. My dad grew up on a farm in Clay City, and I think that sure gave me an appreciation for agriculture. And I think having two parents that spent time with me and made sure that I had fun trying to do good things as well as doing the normal kid things helped me have an appreciation for that as a grown-up. Since I've graduated from college and law school, I saw politics as my opportunity to get involved in my community, and it's worked out pretty well.
Okay, good. So kids have a lot of obstacles they have to overcome or deal with. When you were a kid, what kind of obstacles did you have, and how did you deal with it?
Well, the fact that my dad was in the Air Force was one obstacle because we moved a little bit, and it's hard being the new kid in class. Sometimes I think that was probably the toughest obstacle. But I was very lucky. I did not have a lot of obstacles besides that growing up. And what I learned is you have to be willing to adapt, that in life, whether it's as a kid or as a grown-up, sometimes you have to deal with circumstances that you would rather not deal with. But the most important thing is to have a good attitude. Yes. If you can keep a positive attitude, you can deal with almost anything.
Okay, good. In school, you served as the student body president. Is that where you started to sort of like politic issues?
Yes. Okay. When I was in high school, I was active in some of the student government things, and then also when I got into college and law school, I was very active in student government, and that gave me my first interest in maybe real political leadership. And it's kind of neat that now in state government, a lot of my friends that I knew back in college are also now working up here in Tallahassee. So I think if you get that interest when you're in maybe high school and college, it certainly can carry through to your adulthood.
Yes, okay, good. So I watched your YouTube videos, and you're very articulate and comfortable in front of people. Were you always like that?
Not at all. Actually, I was very shy, really in elementary school and junior high school, and most of high school. And I think just like anything else, it's like a sport or learning a musical instrument. If you practice and you talk in front of people a lot, you get more comfortable. I used to be very, very uncomfortable talking in front of people, and but fortunately I've had a lot of practice, so I'm more comfortable now. But I would say this, even now, if I'm going to say something in front of the entire house or in front of a group of reporters, you still get a little bit nervous because you care and you want to do a good job.
Yeah.
And so there's nothing wrong with a little bit of nervousness, but you definitely can get more comfortable with practice.
Okay. Did you have any nervous or embarrassing moments?
Oh man, I've had a lot of nervous and embarrassing moments. I have nervous ones all the time. Hopefully most of them are not embarrassing. More than anything, I think one of the things that makes most public officials nervous is you want to thank the people who helped you. I'm always afraid that I will miss thanking someone.
Yeah.
And so I think that creates more nervousness if you're going to make an introduction to a group or thank a group of campaign supporters. You don't want to leave anybody out.
Yeah.
Because politics, it looks like an individual effort, but it is very much a team effort, and every man or woman in the House has a ton of people, friends and family, who help them get there. I'm very lucky I get to be the Speaker of the House, but I have a whole ton of staff and people who help me try and do things to run the House, and then I have great colleagues in my caucus that we work together. So it's very much a team effort, and probably the most nervousness is the fear that you will accidentally forget to thank somebody.
Yes, I've had a couple embarrassing moments. I interviewed Petula Clark over the phone. I guess we got the days mixed up, and I was at ballet when she called, and my mom pulled me out of dance, and then I was like, what is it? Because we were in the middle of recital.
Oh, wow.
And so my teacher is very strict about that, and she's like, this is our only day for recital.
Yikes.
So, because I go to Orlando Ballet, and
Okay.
they're very...
Now, our daughter Catherine is, I think she may be about to start there. How young can you be to start the Orlando Ballet?
You can be very young. There's primaries and everything, so
Okay.
it goes pretty young.
Okay. Gotcha. Our daughter Catherine just turned 7, so she's.
Yes.
I think she's thinking about transferring to Orlando. So if she goes there, I may have you look out for her.
Yes, that'd be cool.
All right.
But so she called, and then I guess my mom downloaded some kind of app because we didn't have our recorder with me.
Mm-hmm.
So I accidentally erased the interview.
Oh no.
Yeah, and it was with Tula Clark, so it was just like,
Wow.
Yeah, and then the next day I called her up and I was like, I'm sorry, I erased the interview, can we do it again? And she was like, no, I'm sorry, I can't do that. I've got performances and everything.
Uh-oh.
And then I was like, oh, okay. And she was like, well, let me see if I can squeeze in. And I was like, okay. So we ended up getting it back. But
Good for you.
yes, that was very stressful.
Good for you, no doubt. That's like running the house. It's just like that, only 10 times a day.
Yes. So that's good. So you gave a speech and talked about your civic rent, something that all of us owe, that you learned from your mom. What have you learned from your civic rent?
Wow. I've learned that that communities don't happen by accident. And what I mean by that is, if whether it's a town or a region or a state, that they get better or get worse based on what people are willing to do. And if you want to, I think Florida is a great state. I think Orlando and Central Florida is a great region. But people have to work to make it, keep it that way, and make it better. And that it takes a lot of effort from a lot of people at all levels: local government, city, county, state government. We need great leaders in the federal government, goodness knows. So, and not just in government, but in the arts, ballet, performing arts, visual arts, education. We have great schools, but we should be making them better. You know, we have great civic institutions. We should try to make them better. We should always be trying to improve ourselves and improve our institutions, whether that's a civic institution, an educational institution, or a government institution. And so I've tried to make the House, the Florida House, work better as an institution and provide better government. And I think that all branches, both the legislative branch, the executive branch, and the judicial branch, should be trying to improve so we can make Florida a better place.
Yes, okay, good. So, I asked a U.S. Senator, Senator Marco Rubio, when he was running for office, that I'd like to ask you, what do you think, your kids would say is the coolest thing about their dad and the uncoolest thing?
I hope they would say that their dad loves them and loves to play with them, and that that's the coolest thing. And I think they would probably say that the uncoolest thing is that his job makes him travel a lot and be away from home, because that's been the toughest part. By far and away, the hardest part of this job is it has made me be on the road and away from my wife and kids more than I would have liked. And like I said, I went through that with my dad being in the Air Force and traveling a lot with his work, and I know that's tough on little kids, and so that's probably what they would say the uncoolest is.
Yes. When I don't think I asked Marco Rubio about the uncoolest, but with the coolest, I know that he said he likes to do a lot of pool games with his kids and everything.
There you go.
So.
Yep.
Yes. Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. Great job. As a person who has a journalism degree, you did a very nice job.
Thank you.
All right. Take care.